Hi, welcome back to Generic Awful High School. My name is Birdie Scoop.
I am Shoop de Loop.
And I hate you.
I hate you. Good to have you today. So today we're talking about Miss Ancolamadore, which we're just going to say Miss A for the stories because she added a long name. And Miss A was both mine and, what was your name?
Shoop de Loop.
Shoop de Loop's English teacher back at Generic Awful High School. So Miss A, Shoop de Loop would describe her as somewhat of a hippie in character, but she had been at Generic Awful High School for many years, always teaching the exact same curriculum. She loved the Scarlet Letter.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's just...
Oh, she was an English teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't know that. And the Scarlet Letter. Oh, I know the type. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dear. Okay, never mind.
Oh, no.
I am buckling up, okay?
It was bad.
Oh.
Like, I'm pretty sure for my class, we covered the Scarlet Letter for the whole fall semester.
What?
Yeah.
So this wasn't even just like here's American literature, just here's a book.
Well, her family loved it so much that she told our class that when she would have her, it was either Thanksgiving or like Christmas time, that they would all reread the book, every single one of their family members, and they would talk about and argue to great lengths this book. If you've never read this book, The Scarlet Letter, don't. It is the driest, most terrible thing from the Romantic period.
The description of it sounds better than the actual story.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like a cool story. Like, woman's ostracized, there's drama, it's early American history. As a history nerd, I was intrigued by the idea of it. Tried to read it for summer reading one summer and just gave up at 50 pages in. I was like, they've been arguing for so long. Because it's a book about arguing.
Yeah.
Like, and then they argue about the book about, wow.
It was bad.
Wow.
So the class was horribly dry.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was bored out of their minds. But of course, this was no normal teacher. This was a Generic Awful High School teacher, so there was all sorts of drama. One person who brought a lot of drama was Miss A's sister, who we call Miss R, and she was actually the librarian for the school. So these are sisters.
So we have I'm just picturing their Thanksgiving. Yeah. You have her and her librarian sister arguing over the Scarlet Letter.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, who knows what the rest of the family was.
Yeah, seriously. Like, the rest of them, was one of them like a Census Bureau employee or something? Like, that's like the driest family I've ever heard of. That's just so... And like a hippie?
We'll get there.
Okay, I'm befuddled here, but okay,
yes.
All right. So sorry, so librarian Miss R.
So they're in their 50s or 60s.
Probably 60s.
Probably 60s. Okay, well, the thing is, like, it was as if they were both 13 and 14 years old. They would she would come into her room and they would just start arguing about anything and everything. They'd be arguing about, like, the book, they'd be arguing about the weather, they'd be arguing about, like, when to use a computer lab, or about library books, and they would just, like, sit there just, like, bickering at each other while Miss A would be, like, kind of, like, apologizing for the intrusion for her sister. So kind of like these backhand, like, things that she's saying, like, right at, like, in front of her, and it was just like the most awkward, like, strange thing to be hearing from, like, these grown adults who are just playing, like, fighting like children.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
So that went on a lot. The other thing with Miss R was she was probably one of the scarier people at Generic Awful High School. She was all about strictness and power.
Now, this kind of went for both Miss A and Miss R. They were both disciplinarians in their own right. But Miss R put Miss A to shame with just how much care she took to ensure no foot stepped outside of line.
Oh, no.
She would explain the rules for using the computer room for a good 20 minutes or so. And there was one time when this one kid who was just listening apparently said something. I honestly didn't hear anything. And she went, boom! You there! You're getting a referral. I want you out of my class. You're gone. I'm never gonna see you again. She's like a dictator. Like this is my zone. I'm gonna make you pay.
And she was the librarian. She was not a teacher.
Right, that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out here. Like, okay, I used to work at my town library for like a year and a minute or whatever. Like, it was it takes a special kind of person to take it that seriously. Because everybody after like 3 months of just soul crushing work of staring at numbers and like books just kind of mentally takes a seat and just kind of leans back a little bit, where they're just like, all right, this is not that serious. Like, no one's dying or living based on this. Yeah. Even my director, who took it very seriously, was also like, whatever. Like, wow, that's wild that she was just so, like, fascistic about it, apparently. She was just, like one step away from goose stepping through the library, apparently. Like,
she basically did.
She basically did.
Like, if you were in the library, like, you had to be, like, watching out. Because she was a scary individual.
That's so crazy. No. That's wild. That's absolutely crazy. And was she the only library employee? Like, was she just the main person?
She was just the top of the
She just had her underlings so that she had, like, her, like... That's so weird.
So it made the library a very forbidding place
to
be.
I wouldn't want to go and study there. Like, that's crazy.
I studied in the library exactly once in my time at school. She wasn't happy with it either because we brought hot glue in.
So, for most of my academic time at Generic Alpha High School, I avoided the library as well. But there was a rebellious period in Birdie's life when I had some friends who wanted to study in the library, and I was more into the danger of Miss R walking around the librarian, and I decided, hey, we should not study. We should spice things up and play some poker. So we would play push-up poker, where the danger was if she saw you doing push-ups or something, she's gonna like cause it like have a fit. So we would play all these dumb games of like basically trying to not get caught by the librarian while playing poker, and I taught them to throw playing cards. That we were throwing things and
like throwing it like where you can like throw it so it'll stick at something, or like like Ninja Star throwing it. Yeah. Why were you guys recreating Silent Library? Like,
that is what we were doing.
That's literally what you guys are doing. It's like, but there's no cash. It's just punishment and pain if you guys get caught.
I don't know.
I'm surprised you guys weren't like doing Silent Library challenges. Where it's like, see who can like sprint from one end to the other without getting caught. Like,
we almost did something.
Oh my gosh.
Not quite. They were kind of chicken.
That's awesome. But... No, that's wow.
Yeah. Well, guys. So back to Miss A's classroom. Oh, that was the librarian. But
okay.
For Miss A's classroom, we were all really bored. And we had this guy who was also really bored. And he was quite a character. I'm going to call him Malcolm. Not his real name. But Malcolm really loved Dragon Ball Z. It was just the best to him. He would talk about it basically every day of his life, I think. He would rewatch all the series. There's a lot of Dragon Ball Zs.
I know the type. I know the type.
Yeah.
That's very... our age range of when we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. Like, that was peak.
Yes. And he would quote Dragon Ball Z a lot. I mean, there's like the main ones.
Like as Piccolo said, or would it just be like like in inspirational quote form, or just in like just referencing episodes, like...
More like referencing like kind of famous lines.
Gotcha,
so there's like the over 9,000.
That kind.
And then there's also the majestic space duck. Oh my god! And he would say other things too that I didn't really know the reference to. Sure. But he would fit those references in to every place he could. He would. So whatever Miss A would be like, all right, for homework you need to read pages 80 to 140. He'd be like, but Miss A, that's over 9,000! And he'd do it for everything. Miss A had this thing where she would like announce like the highest grades really obnoxiously. And he would say something like, Miss A, that's a score of over 9,000! It was as loud as he possibly could. And Miss A wouldn't quite get the reference.
It's not even my final form. It's like...
Oh, he would say that a lot too.
Oh my gosh.
But he would fit it in, and it kind of like made sense contextually without her knowing the quote. So she would just be like, "Can you not be so loud?" Instead of like reprimanding him more. But you really didn't like those.
The announcing the scores.
Yes.
Yeah, I had some bad experiences with that. For whatever reason, I did really well in English classes in high school, and so I had kind of the unfortunate position of being like an unwilling teacher's pet. I know that sounds weird.
How does that happen? Just like you wake up one morning, you're like, I'm the teacher's pet. Like, but you walk in, she had a collar to you. Like, just like, here you go, you are now teacher's pet. Or just because you did well, she just like.
I did really well,
okay.
And I didn't like her, so that made me speak up in class more. And actually, I've never met an English teacher that I did like. I've always had a very antagonistic relationship with English teachers. It's just kind of my thing.
Everybody needs a gift, so it's okay.
Yeah, so the thing that she did with the highest scores, this was specifically a test thing. Whoever got the highest score on the test, she would make an announcement in front of the class and say, the person with the highest grade is, practically asking for a drum
game
roll.
show level.
Like game show level. She stopped
like
everything
Price
for
is
it.
Right. Like,
give me a drum roll.
Give me a drum roll.
She,
person with the highest score. She wouldn't say just the highest score. She'd say the person with the highest score.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Yeah. Oh, it's way worse. So she said the person with the highest score is, and unfortunately, inevitably, it was Shoop. And she required everybody to applaud.
Oh no!
And then the person with the highest score had to come up in front of the class
and do what? Take a bow,
and shake her hand and accept a prize.
What were the prizes?
Pencils.
No, it's so bad.
Pretty much exclusively pencils.
I would have accepted like a piece of candy, a Starburst, even just something. A pencil.
She made a big deal about these pencils too. It was a little bit like the Scarlet Letter, where you could tell she thought this was a nice gift. I remember one time the pencil in question was a Keep Calm and Carry On pencil, and everybody she would introduce the pencil before she would actually announce the person with the highest score. So she would talk about the pencil that she'd chosen this month for this test.
Surprised she didn't bring in Miss R to showcase girl it. And today we have a pencil all the way from themed with England. Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
So
dun, dun,
the real
dun.
story from this comes in from one of these tests where it was about Walt Whitman's poems, like Leaves of Grass.
Yeah. Big Walt head. What's good at that?
Yeah, I got
I have
into
an
it
I Heart
later.
Walt t-shirt, so I don't.
I really was not a fan of reading those poems.
Right.
I didn't have the time. It was later in the semester or whatever. So I didn't read them.
Okay.
Oh,
no.
I think it was, these pages were in the textbook, so I I leafed through Leaves of Grass kind of at quadruple speed in the couple of minutes I had before the test about it. And then we took the test. So when it came time for her to announce the scores, she first sat us down really seriously and said, I am so ashamed at everybody who took this test. You all did terribly. You did so badly. I don't believe that anybody studied for this test, except for one person.
Oh no.
Shoop got the highest score on this test. Shoop, come up front, shake my hand, have a pencil. Shoop, I want you to tell the class how much time you spent studying on this test. And I said, I didn't study at all, Miss A.
You said that in front of her?
I did. I was up in front of the class and I said I didn't study at all. And she said, well, clearly though, Shoop has demonstrated that she has good reading skills. She must have really retained it from reading it well. And I said, I didn't read it.
Was this multiple choices, or was it a processing and answer questions where it was analyze stuff?
It was multiple choice with a couple short answers.
Oh my gosh.
But you can get the idea of Walt pretty darn fast.
Yeah.
He doesn't really talk about a whole lot, so it's pretty easy to BS your way through it.
Oh yeah.
But she didn't know what to do. She had tried to awkwardly save it, and then she just kind of let me go back to my seat.
Were you doing that on purpose to make it don't call me again? Even if I get the highest score, don't bring me up here.
Well, it worked. If that was the case, that was the last time she did the announcing.
You ended that?
At least for my class.
Wow.
Maybe she did it for the rest, but at least
so
for
funny.
me, I was done.
Wow. If I may I?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm raising my hand. It's not good for an auditory or audible thing. Fun fact: at my generic awful college, They have a statue of Walt Whitman in front of the student center.
Oh.
Because where our college is located, it was like his hometown for a long time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It's cool. It's got a little butterfly on top of it. So yeah, no, big in the artwork around my college. I also did the same thing during a college exam. Just because I knew how the teacher like talked.
Right.
I had read. It was a literature class too. That's what made me think of it. It sounds a lot like one college class. And our final exam was worth 45% of our grade for the entire semester. We had 3 grades, the whole class. And so like kids are coming in like sweating bullets. They're stressed and they're freaking out. And this guy sounds a lot like Miss A. He was very myopically focused on like dumb books that like no one else cared about. Like he, as a non-African American, was obsessed with Toni Morrison's Beloved, which is a good book, but like he was not the person to talk about it. Like he was very like he just missed huge chunks of it. Like I had actual African American professors who talked about it later, and it was like amazing. It was great, but he was just not the person. And so, but he had like 3 or 4 like key ideas he honed in on. He'd repeat it like every week. He would just be like, and this and this and this, ethos, pathos, whatever. Like he just like he had this dumb stuff that he thought made him sound really smart. And then he would just like repeat it all over. I was like, I wonder if I just said those terms over and over again, because it was an essay one where we had to write for like 2 hours straight. It was one of those little blue book exams. I was like, I wonder if I just like use those terms in each answer, if he'll just like it, and he'll give me like an A. And I got an A on the test. Like everybody else who tried to like argue their way through the questions or whatever, like failed it. And like I had friends who went from like A's to like C's for the semester, and I kind of had to ashamedly be like, "Oh yeah, no, that test sucked. I was really bad at that." And I'm like hiding my A. I'm like, "Yeah, no, he sucks. He's the worst. It's like, because that was bad. That was bad. But what is it about teachers who like think that they have like the best angle on a book or literature or a subject, and they're like, I am the only one who's ever taught this well? It's like, not what? Like,
this comes with being an English teacher.
It just comes with, but I wonder if it's bred into them, where they're just like, I am now the best expositor of literature ever, and English literature is the best of the literatures. I don't get it. Like Nathaniel Hawthorne didn't think he was that hot either. Like it's, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Anyway, sorry. That reminded me a lot of the story. So
That's all right. It's all good.
That's a good digression.
Miss A also liked to bring up people for a different reason in front of class. I don't know if you.
No, was it the opposit? Did she do
No.
the lowest grade was?
Oh, that'd be terrible.
At a 27.
Yes, that'd be terrible. No, this is almost just as bad.
Okay.
She would like, I don't know, look at the roster or something, and she would figure out people's birthdays. Because she had a very special song that she really liked. Whenever someone turned 17,
Wait.
there was a song that she liked to sing in front of the class. Not just the whole thing, and it took like 3 minutes. And she'd make you
She had a
stand in front of
ballad.
class.
She was just.
Yeah, the 17
was
song.
it by ABBA? Really?
No. Didn't she sing that for you guys?
No.
Really?
I'm not sure
No
that
one
I
turned
was-
17 the whole year you were there?
Yeah, I think I was in a different grade when I had it or something.
It was an older song. I have a
So it
different
wasn't
17
Dancing Queen.
song. No, not that one.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Why
No, I
would
don't
she
The
think
only
so.
17.
Oh, so
I know.
dancing. Yeah, no.
No, it was not that.
That seems like way too
But
fun of a thing.
it was
for her to
like
be done.
obnonously like a long song to sing. And she
It was a
just-
song about turning 17?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so she didn't write a song. She
No.
she had a song that she
But
knew.
she sang the verses.
Wait, did she
And the
bring in like
chorus.
a boombox or something? Or
Nope, a cappella.
was she good?
No. Bad. Like, not terrible, but
Probably a lot of
you had to sit there. I mean, we had like 30 of us in the class. You know,
Yeah.
you know how many times you had to sing that?
Whew.
30 times.
So she wasn't just singing like a verse, she was singing like
Whole
the
thing.
song.
It would take a while.
She'd be like, and the bridge! Like, it's...
Yeah.
Did she try to like get the kids involved to sing with her, or did she just sing?
Probably. We were not.
But
into
you
it.
were not happy.
We weren't into
Okay,
anything in
that's-
that class.
Everybody now.
We were just looking for ways all day to like distract ourselves.
Wow.
There's another thing that we picked up on. Another way to distract ourselves was she hated sneezing.
She hated sneezing.
Well, yes.
Wait.
So the reason was.
Wait. Okay, I'll let you tell me. I have questions. Okay, all right, keep going.
So she hated it because she thought it wasted time.
but singing a song doesn't.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it
okay,
doesn't make sense.
Logic
That's
clearly
a
does
song.
not have a bearing. Keep going.
But like, I mean, you can't prevent a sneeze, but you can prevent is saying bless you. Saying bless you wastes time. So she would like, and it really kind of like, it wasn't like a religious thing. She really just thought it wasted time, as far as I know. But she's like, do not say bless you if someone sneezes. It wastes time. She'd go, she'd talk about this like 5 minutes, like every week. But of course, people get bored and be like, achoo! And then someone would be like, may God bless your face and your elbows and your liver. I'm just saying,
Just turning into like a
most
Monty Python
ridiculous
bit in the
things.
middle of
Oh yeah,
class. Like,
and of course Malcolm, the Dragon Ball Z guy, that was his favorite thing to do. Just
Bless people.
bless every part of someone's body every time someone sneezed, and then Miss A would be like, "No, saying bless you," and she's like, "Oh, sorry, Miss A, I forgot." Oh, they would do that a lot.
wow, that's such a weird thing to get like hung up on, though. Like,
Yeah.
because you really can't prevent a sneeze. I sneezed in front of my class one time while I was teaching, and I lost them for 5 minutes because apparently the face I made was so funny.
Wait, really?
Every time I looked back at them to keep teaching, they just laughed. Like, and
see you
then like
sneeze now.
I had a bunch of them. It was pretty violent. But, like, like I turned and sneezed, and then like literally 5 minutes later, a girl started laughing, and I was like, "What are you laughing?" She's like, "I'm thinking about your sneeze."
Oh, that's weird.
And then they all started laughing again. It was bad. I was like, I give up. Like,
It's gonna be fun to illustrate your face.
please don't.
It's too late.
But-
I'm showing it right now.
It's great.
Just enjoy
Yeah,
it.
It's great. Anyway, but yeah, that's just such a weird thing to get hung up on. Like, to say, don't bless you. Also, how do you not know that kids are then going to spend a lot of effort blessing people then?
You
Surprised the
should
kid didn't bring in holy water. It was like, bless you, bless you, bless you.
The
Like,
thing is,
Oh.
she was basically the queen of losing battles.
sure.
So she had this thing. I'm not sure if it was in your day as well, Bertie, but she got really hung up with people being late to class.
Okay.
And she was in the middle of the English class corridor. They're all lumped together. And it was a pretty main thoroughfare at the school. A lot of kids going through there. And she just thought, this is such a time waste. We have to eradicate this. I'm going to get all of the English teachers in on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to stand outside of our classrooms and yell at people. So she would yell at people to not be late.
Okay.
And the really funny thing is, she would keep doing this after the late bell had rung because there are still people in the halls. And so the rest of her class was just sitting in her room while she stood outside and yelled at the kids who were late because she
Who were
didn't
not in
want
her
to
class?
waste time.
Wait, and these aren't kids who are like in her class.
No.
I mean, maybe a couple of them, but like, it's just random kids.
It's just random kids because she was very concerned that there was a lateness problem in our school. So she stayed outside after the late bell
Surprised she
had
didn't have
rung.
like a cattle prod out there. Where she's just like, go on, gotta move on. Like, Giddy up.
She brought signs once.
did you know?
Yeah.
Wait,
like posters.
Like,
All over. She
no,
brought posters.
that said like, don't be late.
Yep.
Or like, oh,
Like she's at a baseball game.
how do you not think people are gonna take you less seriously like that?
Well,
She's just standing in the middle of the hallway with a sign that says, get a move on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
don't be late. Did you like bedazzle it with glitter and stuff? Or it's like, was it just a very sternly written sign? Like,
I don't
just
remember.
that's so funny.
I don't think I
Oh
ever
my
saw the
gosh.
signs.
That's
But-
amazing. Oh my gosh, I want to make a sign now. Just to like,
You should do it.
oh my gosh, that's like peak not self-awareness there. Like, that's crazy. But it sounds like that's her character, is to not
Yeah.
Yeah,
get it.
she was just a very confusing person.
Yeah.
Because she had all of this strictness and, abiding by the rules as tightly as possible and wasting time for the sake of efficiency. And yet, she really didn't seem to have grown up like that. She looked like a very strict, boring woman who could be a librarian, but instead, whose sister is a librarian. And she was, she kind of grew up a hippie from what I could tell. Maybe this was just my class, but she told us all these stories from her past about, for example, why she identified so much with the Scarlet Letter was because Oh man, it's so wild that I almost don't want to say it, but she told us this story about this time that she and the father of her child, when she was pregnant, got caught up in the middle of a shootout.
What?
What?
Oh, wait, I did not hear
I was not expecting it to go that way.
And she was not married.
Oh, like at all? You're saying like at the time, like she had kids, but she just wasn't married. Okay.
But like she wasn't. She seemed like this perpetually single lady who loved English. But she had this whole previous life that she just alluded to in one story.
And she said there was a shootout?
Yeah, there was a shootout that broke out, and the guy she was with shoved her to the ground right outside of the taxi into the gutter, and she was really concerned because it was down onto her pregnant belly, and somebody died, and it was crazy, and it was just out of nowhere, and it was the most jarring experience. Another time she talked about...
Have fun illustrating that, by the way. Pregnant woman with bolts flying around.
Yeah.
Like,
I can do that.
She better be yelling "my baby," but like... Sorry. Wow. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
She also had quite a few stories from, very much Woodstock era of hanging out with different people.
Is that the term she used?
Hanging out?
No, it wasn't
Don't
quite
illustrate
like
that part.
But, one story in particular, she talked about she got introduced to this one person and they heard her name, which, it's a pretty ridiculous name. It's Ancolamadore, and I don't know what we called her exactly, whatever. But the person heard this long, awkward name and said, "Wow, that's so beautiful. Did you pick that yourself? Did you change your name?"
He asked her if she picked her own last name.
Yeah. And he proceeded to say some phrase that didn't sound all that much like her actual last name, like, "I come, I adore," or something like that.
Solid.
And from then on, she said she cherished her last name, because...
It sounded like she picked it herself?
Because it sounded like she picked it
That's so
herself,
weird.
and she liked the meaning. It wasn't like,
my
"Oh my
gosh."
gosh. It was something else that was a little bit less weird than that.
Yeah.
But... yeah, she apparently had a wild youth and then somehow turned into this grizzled, strict lady who taught English.
That's so weird.
She's a very strange person.
Does she still teach at Junior High School?
She does, and you know
Really?
what? I know somebody who works there, and they say that all the time she asks how I am.
No way! No way! That's awesome. Way to make an impression.
So weird.
Shoop.
A teacher I hated.
Yeah, same with me. I'm
Really?
a big fan. Yep.
Oh man, I got some former students who go there now. I should ask them.
There you go.
What level English did she teach, at least for you guys? Just
Like
English in general?
second year, third year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
third year.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's where they are. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh man. Okay. Very cool. Very
Yeah.
very cool.
That was Miss A.
Yeah, I was to
That's
say.
exciting.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for next week where we get to hear from another generic awful high school teacher. My name is Birdie.
My name's Shoop Loop.
And I hate Birdie.
Your name is I Hate You.
I hate you. Whatever.
Well, I hate you too.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I love you.
Aww.
Love you all. Aw.
All right. Bye.